My name is Shae. I'm a technology entrepreneur, and I co-founded Blockstack, a platform for decentralized blockchain apps. These apps give people more control over their data, more privacy, and more freedom. And it is my passion for empowering people and promoting democracy and freedom that is what caused me to start Blockstack over 5 years ago. It is the same passion that brings me here to talk to you today. But I'm not going to focus my talk on my work at Blockstack. Rather, I'm going to focus it more broadly on the role that technology is playing on human organization and freedom at large around the world. Today, society is at a crossroads, is on the cusp of changes in human organization. Many countries around the world are embroiled in a battle between the forces of authoritarian control and the forces of democratic freedom. Part of this is due to geopolitical forces, and part of this is due to ongoing technological developments. Think of the role of social media in the Arab Spring. On the one hand, we have technologies that give more power to authoritarian governments, technologies like surveillance systems, countrywide firewalls, social media botnets, and social credit systems. These authoritarian governments that are unelected use technology to exert more power over people who did not consent to being governed by them. On the other hand, you have technologies like social media, like private chat apps, and the internet at large that empower individuals, that give more freedom, that allow all of us to communicate freely, to collaborate, and to organize around issues that are important to us, even amidst people who would like to stop us. We have a choice for the future of humanity. Do we want to live in a world that is top-down, that is governed by the few, with the power to command and control? Or do we want to live in a world that is bottom-up, that is governed by the many, with the power to self-organize? Today and every day, we have the opportunity and the responsibility to make that choice. We can use our policy decisions and our technological resources to support centralizing technologies, or we can use it to support democratizing technology. These centralizing technologies that authoritarian governments use to have more power over the people, they have very concrete negative repercussions on the everyday people around the world. And the methods that they use to exert this power, I like to refer to as the digital deadly sins. They are surveillance, censorship, hacking, propaganda, and coercion. All of these result in more control and restricted freedom for the people. They restrict people's thoughts, their words, and their actions. And these methods can even be used to exercise violence in the physical world. Furthermore, sophisticated actors can employ these methods at a large scale. And this is why they are so dangerous for society. Now, democratizing technologies like social networks and like private communication systems, they promote democracy and freedom. They empower individuals. But at the same time, they are co-optable. These once democratizing, once freedom-promoting technologies are often tapped into by centralizing technologies at the behest of authoritarian governments. Technologies like surveillance systems, like censorship systems, and systems for the other digital deadly sins that we mentioned. In order for us to move beyond the centralizing technologies that are co-opting the democratizing technologies, we need to make our democratizing technologies resilient to intervention. The evolution of democratizing technologies are resilient technologies. And often they have one or more of the following properties. They're often privacy-preserving, censorship-resistant, hack-defending, decentralized, and self-organizing. Let's go through a few privacy technologies. So and you might have used some of these, but Signal is a private chat application that is more secure and more private than almost any other, or potentially every other chat out there, including WhatsApp. And the reason is it has better security and it has better encryption. DuckDuckGo is a private search engine that doesn't log your search history, unlike Google. ProtonMail is a private email app where the company does not have the ability to read your emails, unlike Gmail. Graphite Docs is a private document collaboration application. So you can work on and collaborate on documents with people around the world, and the company doesn't have the ability to read your documents, unlike the Google Docs team. Tor is a private browser where, unlike traditional browsers, the websites and your internet service provider and the governments that have access to them do not have the ability to determine your location or your IP address. Instead, it masks that so that nobody can see that, nobody knows exactly where you are. Brave is a different type of private browser that blocks the trackers that are embedded in the advertisements that you view all over the internet. Whenever you view an advertisement, just remember there's a little tracker inside of that ad. So Brave is a browser that blocks those. And similarly, AdBlock Plus is an extension to existing browsers. It can work with Chrome, Firefox, Safari, whatever browser you use. And when you install that and you upgrade your browser, you now have those advertising trackers blocked as well. There are also hack-defending technologies. Here are a few. Password managers. 1Password is my favorite. It allows you to use really strong passwords, make it really easy to do that, and also use different passwords on every website. And it makes it easy for you to change your passwords regularly. Google Authenticator allows you to easily turn on two-factor authentication for your different accounts, which you really should do if you haven't already, which makes it much, much harder for your accounts to be compromised and hacked. And YubiKey is another way of doing two-factor authentication that requires a physical device. So if someone wanted to hack your account, they would actually need to gain access to that physical device. Perhaps the most remarkable of all these resilient technologies are decentralized self-organizing technologies. The first one that I want to point to is email. It is the oldest and most pervasive communication system on the internet. It is used by virtually every business, and many, many people use it around the world. It is completely decentralized. It is not controlled by anyone. You can access it through Gmail, you can access it through Outlook, you can access it through ProtonMail or any one of the other hundreds of pieces of software out there. Email is decentralized, not run by anyone, and can't be shut down. Similarly, BitTorrent is a file sharing network that is one of the largest in the world, not run by anyone. Instead, it's maintained by the collective, by society. Augur is a prediction market where you can make predictions, place bets on elections or other political or economic outcomes. And you make money if you guessed right. Again, not run by anyone. And last, my favorite is Bitcoin, which is a decentralized global digital currency and transaction network. So let's dive a little bit deeper into Bitcoin. Bitcoin is remarkable because of what it has been able to accomplish to date. First is a decentralized digital currency that is more valuable than the majority of national currencies. And at its all-time high, it was more valuable than every national currency except for 16. Second, Bitcoin is not just a currency, it is also a transaction network that does more annual volume than PayPal and more than Discover. That's pretty incredible. It is used in every country around the world, even in countries where it's banned. And UFM is the first university that actually accepted Bitcoin, which is pretty incredible. So give yourselves a round of applause for that. And Bitcoin represents one of the most incredible accomplishments in spontaneous human organization in the history of mankind. That's an incredible feat. Okay, so we have been introduced to a lot of these different technologies, but what can we do? Well, as consumers, we can use privacy technology like Signal and the other apps that we discussed. We can use hack defending technology like 1Password, other password managers, and two-factor authentication. That will protect us, and that will also promote these technologies so that more businesses keep building them in the future. We can use Bitcoin to transact and hold a small portion of our wealth, so we're not completely reliant upon centralized transaction networks and centralized banking systems. Now, as employees and voting citizens, we can work for companies that value privacy and freedom, not companies like Facebook and Google, whose business model is to advertise to us and to sell our data instead of selling products to us. More like companies like Apple and Samsung, where they sell us products. And even better, for startups. We can also contribute to decentralized networks like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Augur, and Blockstack. We can support candidates and policies that restrict government surveillance because it's up to us to hold our governments accountable. And last, we can support candidates and policies that promote internet freedom, that make it possible for technologies like Bitcoin to thrive, and in turn, make us even more free. This is our future. We decide how it unfolds. It is up to us to decide between a future that is marked by centralized power or by networked power, a future that is marked by command and control or by self-organization, a future that is marked by authoritarianism or by democratic freedom. Let us choose our future wisely. Thank you.